Must have lost. Oh, there we are. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Dos a Cero Football Podcast, a Yamerito production brought to you by SoccerChronicle.com. My name is John Jagu. I'm very happy that you're with us tonight, live on YouTube, of course. We anticipate many calls tonight. As you know, we'll give you the number to call later, or we can, of course, post it on the YouTube page if you guys are watching live on YouTube, and you can listen to this and all of our previous editions of the Dos a Cero Football Podcast. We are very close to having our 1 year anniversary, if I'm not mistaken. So we've been doing this for a year. It's been a lot of fun. We should maybe one day we'll do a clip show if someone is bored enough to actually go through and listen to the previous 51 versions and pick out the best spots. Although there are numerous, we could have a clip show, like a 24-hour clip show. I think. Anyway, glad to have you with us tonight.
What you missed kind of a podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. For those of you that are just starting to listen to us, you can hear all of our zany antics. But we'll have to do a best of, like the best of Carson, if y'all remember that. Well, thank you for joining us. And again, you can listen to all of our previous editions on iTunes. I am John Jagu. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Obviously, we're going to jump right into the most important game of the weekend. Of course, we're talking about Santos and León of that game, and we'll discuss that in detail. And I think there was another game. I forget what it was on Saturday night. I don't know. No one was paying attention. So that's what we'll be talking about tonight. Santos versus León. And of course, we have to bring in our Santos expert to dissect what happened in that game. And we're talking, of course, of Daniel Preciado, who lives in Escondido, California. Daniel, how are you? Your first
well,
impression. Were you sad to see Flaco go?
Is that what we're calling him?
Isn't that his name? El Flaco Tena? Didn't he get fired?
Yeah, but you're talking about Cruz Azul.
No, that's Tomas' boy.
I mean, not Cruz Azul, León.
León, dude.
Yeah, he got fired. He loses to Santos, and anytime any team loses to Santos, I mean, it's a fireable offense, apparently.
I thought the Reds weren't valid though, and that should have given them at least a week's pass. Seems like they. But
the cruel guy Mickey's.
It was an interesting game. I mean, Dan, at one point it was 11 against 8.
I can hear it in your voice. I think that you miss skinny jeans a little, just a little.
No, I don't miss anybody recently.
No skinny jeans.
But you know what? A win's a win.
I don't even know the guy's
name. A little bit of luck.
Yeah, I don't even know the guy's name. I just been calling him skinny jeans for a year and a half. I couldn't tell you what his name is.
So, well, now it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Of course, we are kidding. We're not discussing I think we just discussed León Santos. We're done with that. We're going to talk about the Clásico, the big game, the very impressive win by Chivas over their arch rival Club América in the Estadio Azteca. Whatever mojo the Estadio Azteca has had, it is just gone. They remodeled it and it just lost everything. We'll discuss that in various lengths and details. We'll get everyone's hot takes on it. We'll find out how people enjoyed the game and how people didn't enjoy the game as much. And of course, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Up next, though, before we jump into that, we do have another neutral in the Chivas America watching. Of course, I'm talking about Albert El Chiquis Campa, who is a Irapuato fan. He has his Fresero shirt. He wears it every time we do a podcast. How's it going, Albert?
Those are some good fresas con crema on the side of the road over there.
I'll bet. I was once supposed to go on like a little golfing trip down there with some folks down in the valley, but it didn't happen. I was really disappointed because I really wanted to see it. Guanajuato is a really pretty part of the state.
Yeah, that's
your immediate hot take of the big game.
I think it was. I got to go back to my best of 7 series. It was good for Chivas to win, but I don't think it would happen
Well, that's the great thing about soccer is that they don't play best of 7.
Yeah.
It sounds like somebody's like out on a boat and we're hearing like the boat rocking and we hear the rope being pulled on the cleat. Yeah, that noise. So you say that Chivas won, but they're not the better team.
Well, I think there's a lot of overreacting going on right now by Vergara, by a lot of Chivas fans, by the America fans protesting outside the stadium saying "Fuera Nacho." A little bit crazy going on.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that in the more detail. So thank you, Albert, for joining us as always, and thank you for setting up the technical side of these things.
Thank you.
With us out in California, we have two gentlemen who like wearing stripes. First one, of course, is Joel Aceves. Joel, did you get to watch the game live, or did you see highlights? Did you enjoy it?
John,
How did you feel? You missed the game.
I was disappointed. I was looking forward to it, and I had to go to work.
Did they not understand it work? Hey, could you not watch it on your phone?
Yeah, I couldn't. I didn't have enough room to download the Univision app.
Oof. You gotta eliminate some of that porn, Joel. Choices have to be made. But did you get to see the highlights at least, Joel? Did you enjoy the highlights?
I did. I saw a few. Yes, the goals.
Yeah.
The goals. Yeah.
It could have been a massacre. I'll be honest with you. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. Now there's another gentleman who is with us who normally wears red stripes. We think that he's changed his stripes to blue. We're calling him El Cambiarrayas. Of course, we're talking about Juan Uribe, who was nay a Chivas fan, but now appears to be leaning more toward the Pachuca blue stripes. But I'm sure that he was able to enjoy the game as a neutral. Am I correct, Juan?
As professionals, John, we can't we can't display favoritism of one club over another. So I think you have to be careful. You can't say that you're that maybe Pumas or Americas. But I did watch the game, and I think Beto is completely off base here. It's very clear Chivas is the better team, have the better bench. They're probably at this point maybe their squad is maybe a couple million. The value of the first team of the first 18 is probably a couple million over America. We'll have to ask probably Fernando to maybe compare the values. He's the expert on that. But John.
That's why he hasn't joined us yet. He's busy crunching numbers.
Yeah, we have to crunch the numbers. But I wonder if Ronnie was conflicted because I know he likes the way Chivas has a lot of 100% Mexican club. They don't have any foreigners except maybe in the coaching department. So I wonder if he was maybe he celebrated every goal like deep down inside, like his inner Roji Blanco came out. He was able to.
Juan, do you think it's possible that Ronnie's inner child might be a Chivas fan?
I think so, man. I mean, look, always the guys that are the loudest against something, they're the first ones that like it the most. Like if you notice, Ronnie's idol Trump, he flew over to Mexico. He's over there, embracing the president, drinking tequila on the day. So, I mean, down inside, I think, Ronnie and Trump are both Chivas fans. Now, notice, Trump didn't go to Mexico until Chivas won 3-0. That's something like that.
Some very interesting hypotheses being expounded out in Long Beach, right?
Yeah, Long Beach, man. Well, I'm on the 405 parking lot. Jolie's favorite spot.
I understand. Well, last but not least, now normally when we herald the arrival of our next guest, we do play a little theme song, but I think today we're gonna have to play a different theme song for for our esteemed colleague from Philadelphia who is also an America fan. So let's just go ahead.
Oh.
So, Ronnie De Luna from Philadelphia, our resident Americanista. Pretty rough game. It was for an America fan. It must have been hard to take.
John, to be honest, you know the song "The Thrill Is Gone."
I do.
It was like that. I was kind of like I was busy busy all day. I was in the studio finishing up some models.
I want to hear the end of your story. I really do. But I'm pretty sure that if America would have won, I believe that you would be telling a completely different story.
No.
I do.
No, what I'm saying is like, I don't want to sound like a mamon, okay? But I mean, you think about it. I mean, America, I've been so used to seeing them win titles and stuff like that it's like the thrill is gone, So to have Chivas have their day, it's one of those.
Hey, hijo de la chingada, no mames, güey.
Yeah, we don't buy that.
Do you remember? There's a documentary about the team, the miracle. Like, do you believe in miracles?
El Chanfle is not a documentary. No. That was a movie. It was an act of fiction.
The documentary about the Miracle on Ice, about the team, the college, the hockey team.
Right.
And they were interviewing the Russian players. So, like, the Russian players, remember, they were a machine for so many years.
They were pros.
And when they lost the game to the Americans, they were basically on the other side of the ice, and they just had like this look of like amusement, because it's like they kind of enjoyed watching the other team like enjoy their moment, because for them it was no longer joyous, because it was just like a routine. So it's like one of those where I'm not gonna get all upset over one game. And I was talking to Beto
the fact that you're even reacting to this is even sadder than the fact that America lost. So I'm going to have to play this for you. That's the saddest thing I've ever.
I'm not gonna. It's like, oh, fire Nacho Amriz, fire Nacho Amriz. Dude, it's a fucking game. It's one game, dude. I was telling Beto. I said, why the hell would I piss away everything that they're doing over one game? It doesn't make sense.
But from what you described, Do America is now a joyless club that all their players have now turned into robots, and they take no joy in winning or losing. So why even bother playing the game?
No, I mean, the game still has to be played. I mean, you still have to be, you still have to show humility. I mean, you still have to work. I mean, nothing comes for free, unless, you're from the other side of the aisle, but that's different. That's for a different podcast.
So, but again, I do believe that you would have a completely different. No, I do agree with you, Ronnie, that it's just one game. It should not be. For fans in the way that they're at. I mean, that should not just for this game, but for any game.
John, I'll give you two examples. And both of them America. Okay, remember to date, the best, in the last, I'd say the last 15 years, the best team in Liga MX was the team that Mario Carrillo. I mean, they accumulated the most points. They went on a record of unbeaten streak that that America had from the 1920s. I mean, they were a very good team with Clever Boas and Piojo Lopez and Cuauhtémoc Blanco and all those guys. Well, remember how they fucking crapped out in the quarterfinals against Tigres? Vividly,
it's one of my fondest memories of Liga MX. I have pictures of it. on my bathroom
well,
wear.
the thing what happened was that they like on the return, the first game they won
They
like.
were so bored that they wanted to try losing to see what that felt
No,
like.
no. What I'm saying is they lost and they lost in a very ugly fashion, one game, but then the brainiacs at the time, decided to basically try to reinvent the wheel, and it seemed like after that America was struggling for a while, a couple years, and I'm
They
like,
went like 10 years without winning a title. That's like
no, well, no, that was
that's
from
eons.
no
That's eons.
No. That was it actually was 12 years, but that was from.
Oh no, I'm talking about. I'm sorry, not 10. It was 7 years because they won in 2005.
Yes.
And then it went again until 2013. Yeah, so 8 years. And I mean, for a club like America, 8 years that's a serious drought.
But they also had other titles like CONCACAF and other stuff, I'm just saying they had other titles,
Are we still talking about America's history of 10 years ago? Ronnie, are you living in the past? Are you living on their glory?
No, of course not.
Do you still have one of those jerseys, like a 2005 America jersey? Is that what you were when you watched the game?
I don't collect jerseys, John.
Now, if you were to collect a jersey of America, which flavor would you pick for? I know which one I would take if I were ever inclined. Like gun to my head, if I had to buy one, I know which one I would get. I'm curious.
Honestly, the jersey, the one that I liked the most was back in 1999. It was Adidas. I thought that was a sweet. It was the uniform that they played the 2000. I'm sorry the 2000 Copa Libertadores. That was a sweet uniform.
That's the one that had the stripes on the top. And it was very simple, clean, and elegant, right? There was nothing.
And it had one stripe on the short. That's
right.
Like that was a very good one.
Very conservative, like a uniform you could set your watch. See, I like the one from the mid '80s, where they have the yellow and blue like half stripes on the arms and the big.
Oh, that's a nice one too. That's a nice one too.
But then they had that one for a while. So your assessment then, Ronnie, is you've grown bored. You've won so many things that one loss is like whatever. It's not the end of the world, people.
It's not. It's not the end of the world. I mean, if this was, Chivas, like where losing's a tradition and you're not making playoffs and you haven't won a title and the last time they won a title, I think my grandfather was still alive and he was, long time.
Every 2 years they're
now,
this year.
One last question, Ronnie, and I'll open up to the table. When you punched the wall, did it make like a Mexico losing the World Cup hole, or did it just like a regular?
No, I didn't punch the wall. Like I said, I was like, my concern wasn't even mad at the game. It was like, Jesus Christ, and here it's like, where I was like, here we go. I'm gonna have to hear the same repetitive bullshit. It's like, like when like the number 1 seed loses to the 8 seed, it's like, Jesus Christ, the same fucking thing over and over and over. It's a fucking game. Tell me they're in a drought. Tell me they haven't made the playoffs in 4 or 5 seasons consecutively. Tell me they're fighting relegation, and I'll worry. Tell me that, and that's when I'll worry.
Ronnie, I hate to tell it to you, but they're looking at fighting relegation. Actually, I think that they're like either in first or second place.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and Pumas is like 5th. Chivas actually is like jumped to like 9th or 10th, which is shocking. But now, Albert, you had mentioned, and it's something that is probably right. A lot of there's a lot of overreaction going on. They now think that they're the greatest team since organized sport took hold in the mid 1100s, because they won one game. And how long do you think that the euphoria will last before they lose, Albert?
May not be too long.
Hey, John, though.
Yes, sir.
Before you move on to Beto, I didn't want to talk about, you guys were talking about or I'm sorry, with Cambia Raya said, talking about, like the money and the bench and stuff like that. Cambia Raya, he should know that Mexican players are more expensive than South American players.
As evidenced by what we just saw this week.
Yeah, so I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, you're, obviously, that doesn't.
Hey, so let me ask you this, Ronnie. If the Mexican players, based on their value and based on their performances, they're better, what's going on at Club America that they didn't scout these players first?
No, Mexican players are more expensive because of the value that our own clubs, Mexican clubs, put on them. It's not. I mean, I'm in an ideal world, value would be, as quality in the sense, but it's not. I mean, you were able to get Chamagol. Look, Atlante, when they got, what's the name? When Atlante got Chamagol, they bought him for $2 million. And Chamagol was already an established player in the Liga MX.
Those are old values, Ronnie. Like, I mean,
we're going 10 years back, dude. Come on. I mean, it hasn't changed. I mean, it's changed, but not that much.
Hey, you kidding me? 18 million for Pulido. Would you pay 18 million for a Mexican?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a special case. There's no way that he would have been worth that. I mean, the most expensive player that where they didn't have to pay a shakedown was Oribe going to Club America. So,
but
I'm not sure what either y'all are trying to prove, other than just,
Oribe's a national team player. Pulido's just a guy coming from probably a weaker league than the Mexican league, less competitive.
In all honesty,
his worth.
He's an interesting player that they were trying to get in for many years.
Do you think he's worth $18 million?
No, man. It was
market value. Look, market value is what someone's willing to pay. So, I think personally they're an idiot. They're idiots for paying that.
Yeah.
Personally.
I agree with Ronnie.
Are you mad that Chivas now has a more expensive squad than America now?
No.
Yeah, he's salty about it.
Why?
Completely. I think that hurts more than the
Release the Kraken!
What have what has Chivas done?
Coming though, you heard him. You got to introduce him.
Let's look at what Chivas has done though with this season, and they're only adding Pulido. They beat Monterrey, who lost to some Panama team. They lost 4-0.
That's not true though. They also added Gallito Vázquez, who's on the bench. All of the players that they've added, that they paid good money for, are all on the bench.
Okay, so Cholos beats them 4-0.
Handily.
Exactly. They tie Querétaro. They lose or they win Chiva.
I'd be more embarrassed about tying Querétaro than losing to Cholos 4-0, frankly.
Yeah, and then.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going with this.
What does it say about America losing to these guys, man? What does that say about them?
That says, like the same with the Mexican national team, they play up to their competition. They know this is a huge game. They need to come in there, and they know that they're not playing well. They need to step it up, and they did. They did exactly.
That would only apply if Chivas was playing down, but that means that they were playing up because obviously Chivas is all full of Mexicans, and Club America only has one Mexican in the lineup, I think, or two.
The talk for
the
the was
Paulo Aguilar and Tortas.
So technically, it's not Mexico. They're not Mexican, so that doesn't apply.
Yeah, it's the Mexican national team playing in Argentina or playing Brazil. They play up to their competition. Chivas is a team who, going into this game, America was the better individual, talented team. They went up and played against America. They played up in competition to their level, and they did well.
The differences aren't that big, though, Beto. The differences aren't that big between the teams.
Sure, they're not that big, but
if you guys have been watching,
Dan,
the only difference in this game compared to the other games is they put away the chances they created. In past games, they simply weren't finishing.
And that's another point. Everything well for Chivas.
I think that was the difference. So, maybe they're not 3 goals better. If Beto's point is that they're not 3 goals better than America, and I mean that's true, but the Clásico Nacional is not about who's better. It's about pride, man. And clearly, one team stepped it up, and the other team had a meltdown. including midweek with their manager having another meltdown.
And that's perfect.
But hey,
legit point.
I'm actually the way you guys are hyping it up to me is actually beautiful because I've been seeing Chivas hyped up for the last 20 years. And how many titles do they have to show for it in 20 years?
You know what? I agree with that. This Chivas hype has been messing up our national team.
Who's hyping them up though?
I don't think
Just read Twitter, read your Facebook. You know,
those are just
obviously,
fanboys, though.
No,
you
I
have
do
America
agree
has
with
the
that.
same type of fans.
even the news. I'm saying this Chivas hype. I'm not. They won the game, yes, but the Chivas hype. I've been seeing it for 20 years, and like I said, how many titles do they have to show for in 20 years?
I do agree that there is a Chivas hype.
You know, I wouldn't use a 20-year comparison.
Well,
The
right
thing
now,
is that
Chivas
you know
has-
when they rub it in their opponent's face, it's not hype. It's
But hold on. Hey, you're the coach. You're the coach.
That's a cero, that's a goliza.
Cambia rayas.
That's a goleada.
Cambia
Ganó,
rayas.
gustó, goleó.
No. Okay.
That's true.
No. But here's the thing.
Cambia rayas.
After the game, I was watching a bit of the. I was flipping between the channels. You know, Última Palabra and the channels on ESPN and Fox and stuff like that.
So for a guy who couldn't be bothered, somehow managed to catch all the post-game shows.
I was flipping through the channels just to see what people were saying.
Just pointing it out.
Hey, Ronnie, you watch too much TV, man. You don't got homework to do? You got
Of
too much
course.
time
What
to
do you think
watch
I'm
TV.
doing? I'm building models and watching
you don't need to
TV.
do
Sad tissues, John. Sad tissues.
But here's the thing. One of the things. Okay, they won the game, but now, hey, be honest, Juan.
Spit it out.
That ship is sinking for sure, man.
Be
Dude,
honest.
this
be honest.
Chivas hype.
Did Chivas generate offense?
Well, the result is obvious.
No. Did Chivas generate offense?
They did.
That's the
They
obvious
scored 3
question,
goals.
man. Of course.
What's that?
They did.
Wait,
They
are you
scored 3
asking
goals.
do they regularly or
No,
did they
no.
during this game?
What I'm saying is, in a lot of the discussion, and this is where the Chivas hype was coming in from. That's when I was telling you, flipping through the channels, they were talking about, que estaban generando, la ofensiva, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, hold on, wait a minute.
They've been generating.
No. Generating.
How do you define generating offense? Do they keep possession, string 80 passes together, and put a shot on goal? Is that what you consider generating offense?
Generating is
It's
what,
called
like
trickle-down
Barcelona.
offense. It trickles down from the defense.
And I think you guys would be hypocritical. And I know some of you guys, because I've chatted for you guys for decades now in the forums. You guys used to criticize. You guys used to criticize the Nads for their bunker ball, waiting for the counterattacks, open space, playing the cat and mouse game, and stuff like that.
Did you see how many players Chivas would push up when they had possession and they were on the attack?
Were they not using the same tactics? Were they not using the same tactics that Bruce Arena would used?
If they would have been the same tactics, it would have been a 2-0.
You mean pelotazo, route 1 pelotazo? They're really using route pelotazo.
You guys,
I'm not sure, Ronnie. What how do you define generating offense? Because every time Chivas got the ball back, and they got it back regularly, they immediately tried to spring.
And what did you think was going to happen?
That was their
Ronnie, what did you think was going to happen, though, playing at home? Of course, America's
right.
Actually, if that's the way the game's going, I mean.
Sounds like Kanye's on our podcast.
Yeah, let me propose a bet and make a point here. In the next 3
What you gonna do first?
All right, sorry about that. I was bad connection.
In the next 3 games, I predict Chivas will only get 3 points maximum. They probably get less. And this is against Chiapas, Toluca, and Tigres. So this is a legit win. blame them for beating America. They beat them. They played well, and I don't believe it was bunkering or Bruce Arena tactics. But I think it is pure hype. Vergara even said it himself that this is the best team in Mexico right now, and Pulido is going to round out the whole team to make that so.
It is the most expensive team in the recent
Pulido, if Pulido wears his sunglasses during the game, they might be the best team in history.
That's crazy.
I'm going to throw it out there.
That's Pern logic. They're the most expensive team, and it's going to be the most overpriced team once they start tying and losing and not getting.
But that argument is ridiculous because they've spent a lot of money on guys that are on the bench.
And that, hey,
so they're obviously not getting
that's how good their team is so far right now.
But that's gonna bite them in the ass. That's gonna bite them in the ass.
Fernando, I can't tell if you're a Chivas hater or a Chivas lover, because you're like when it comes to Chivas, you're like Janice. It's you see both sides.
I'm not a cambia rayas, first of all. But like I'm just saying that
it sounds like you might be actually. I think you.
He goes both ways on the
I'm watching.
Turn.
You know, for every action there has to be an equal and opposite reaction. So it wouldn't surprise me at all, Fernando. Now that that Juan has gone over to Pachuca, I think that like the only way to keep balancing the force is for you to come over to Chivas.
Hey, we can call both of them Birrayas.
Hey,
that's right.
Hey, you're not cambia rayas, but are you cambia carriles? Oh, snap. No, I'm kidding. That's an inside joke.
Well, no, like I'm just saying, like Higueras is building probably one of the greatest Chivas teams of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah.
Never mind the ones in the 50s that won 7 titles in 8 years.
Dude,
those are chicken shit compared to what's coming.
Dude, just look at that. The most expensive team in Mexico right now.
Who cares about money?
Pern.
Monterrey had the most expensive team in Mexico for 50
man.
years. They won one.
Hey, Pern, but that's going to bite them in the ass. And you know why? Because they're going to say all this fucking money and nothing to show for it.
That's right.
But you already predicted that they're not going to get anything.
You know, it's.
I'm sure they're gonna go on a Copa MX Campeonísimo watch.
Dude, a lot of these European teams.
The players they bought, they're not playing. You know.
And if that happened, could you imagine how great it would be in Guadalajara? If that happened, Copa MX Campeonísimos.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
Look, the refuerzos, Mulis, what's the name, Bueno, and Gallito, they haven't been playing. So by the time Liguilla comes around, those players are going to be fresh and injury-free, man. For the most part, I expect, unless an extremely bad run, bad luck.
Now, Juan, I'm gonna assume, and I could be wrong, that you've, because you're a professional. You feel like the need to watch as many games as you can. You've probably seen a lot of Chivas games this year.
Professional cambia rayas.
Professionally. Does Chivas counterattack as much? And is that their strategy, or is this something that they did specifically for this game?
You know, I think you have to learn to appreciate the qualities of different teams, and clearly, I think Almeida, he definitely learned some lessons, and he took a more proactive approach on the transition. Now, but that doesn't mean that Chivas stayed back and bunkered, like Ronnie said. Oh, did I get cut off? No. I guess Ronnie left.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Back on.
Did he go?
So what happened?
Oh, Ronnie, they just ripped into you, dude. It was you. It was rough.
Who said this, or what happened?
Man, it was awful, man. It just went after you.
My advice to you.
As you were saying, but again, you know, as a professional who may have watched a handful of games, is this a strategy that they employ a lot, or did they just specifically do it for this game?
No, I think, I mean, look, you should be a good manager at just game to game. They neutralize their opponent's strengths and exploit their weaknesses, and that's exactly what happened. It wasn't a case of you know, the last couple of times that the America and Chivas played each other, it was what's his name, Darwin
Quintero.
I think Quintero.
El científico
del
gol.
Yeah, he was absolutely, the slowness of the defense, and I think this time, Chivas, they dealt with it a little better. They were able to make quick transitions, exploit the space, but when they attacked with numbers. It wasn't a case of like we're only gonna send them
That's why I was
forward.
wondering. That's why I was asking because I mean I don't watch Chiva. I mean believe me, I don't watch Chivas games all that much, but I have caught one or two. And what I noticed in the game was that the minute they dispossessed America, then they all they wanted to do was hit them on a quick. I mean, they tried it, 10 or 11 times in each half. Sometimes they were able to obviously, get it going. They got a bunch of goals off of it, but it seemed like it was a definite strategy. I mean, they made no effort to just to play tiki-taka when they had the ball, whatever it is, and let's slow this down. I mean, they made every effort, on the other hand, to try and hit America as fast as they could, whether it was down the flanks or up the middle.
John,
Yeah, you're right.
Didn't the first goal come in relatively soon? Early?
It was like in the 18th, 19th minute. It wasn't terribly soon.
So that to me, that also changes the tactics also. If you're already up one, then the other team's obligated to come forward. So again, that's playing the situation probably the smart way to go.
But they were doing that even when it was 0-0 though. I mean, it was just a thing they did, and that's why I was wondering if that's something that they do all the time or if they just did it specific. I mean, if they saw something in the way Club America was defending and say, hey, we can really go after these guys this way. And I mean, and the sad part is that America never made the adjustment.
But
now I will say
John, John, what you guys were saying is, or I'm sorry, what Juan was saying that for the past I don't know how many clásicos, it's basically pretty much the same tactic where Chivas was basically playing the counterattack. It just so happened, like Dan said, that they scored.
No, it wasn't the case in the previous one. It wasn't the case. I mean, they were giving what's his face that he wanted. And keep in mind, the last Super Clásico, Ronnie, had a lot. You had a couple. You had a lot. Chivas had a lot of injuries in their lineup. So it's almost like it's almost completely different squad mentality-wise.
But what I'm saying is that Dan is right though, because a team that basically is going to play the counterattack, that doesn't really play al tú, and they're fine sitting, just playing the cat and mouse game. That early goal, which was a defense, I think
was it an early goal?
I'm pretty much 20th minute. I mean 20th, something like that. But I'm just saying that the defensive error from I think it was Golds who didn't.
It wasn't
inside the 20th.
That wasn't a defensive error.
But it was. I mean, the goal wasn't generated from a play. It was bad defense. I mean, it was bad defending from what's his name, Pablo.
No, it was generated. It was generated from a play. It was Chofis Lopez, man. He was basically Chofis created.
He pretty much tore them a new one the entire game. Let's be honest.
You know what? I think that's his best game.
Easily, in his young career. There's no question.
Yeah.
And I don't think.
Hey, changing subjects. I know they were hyping up Chofis a lot after this game, but hey, Joel.
Nobody's hyping him up, man. We just said he had his best game. Now that doesn't mean that we're putting him on a mantelpiece,
Joel.
I mean,
Yes.
He's still
in the last 15 years, players that have done Chivas players that have done well in Clásicos, who they hyped up after the fact, are like what's his name?
Bravo.
No.
Medina?
Bravo?
Arellano.
Bofo Bautista.
No. Omar Arellano. Jair Garcia. I mean, I can go. I mean, I know that whole can count a bunch of them that had a shit great games, and they just did not.
Omar Arellano was
I actually have a question for Joel, since we're bringing him to the front of the table. Joel, I'm gonna have to call you out a little bit if you don't mind. I'm sure that you're man enough to take it.
All right, go on.
You I believe were scared of Ruben Sambueza. You said, oh man, he's a big worry. Blah blah blah.
Yes.
Te estaban temblando las rodillas is what was happening.
No, not to that extent. But
It turns out that that in the 17 games he's played against Chivas, he's never scored against them. So he's like a little lamb against Chivas.
Well, you don't have to score to.
So it reminds me of your comments about Mexico when they played Germany. They said that they were scared to play him. I think that you were kind of on the same lines there. You were giving him too much respect.
No, I think he had been an influence. You don't have to exactly score the winning goal,
I
but
understand.
you can play your role in the victory just through his passing or jalando marca or getting throwing players off of their game.
He's a playmaker.
Joel, did you celebrate Pulido's signing by getting the Pulido style haircut today?
This is all like kind of fascinating.
Did you overpay like 20 times what the haircut was worth?
No.
As a move of solidarity.
I'm just eating popcorn right now, enjoying the show, cause.
You guys got
this could go anywhere, He could either do really good, or he could do really bad. But yeah, Price, they very surprising to see Chivas paying over 20 million. I know the transfer was about 17, 18, but you still have to take into consideration the player gets a cut. They need to get a house or apartment for the player, plus a car. So, I mean, they're not going to put that, but that factors in as well.
You guys know where that's from, right? That video that Juan put of Pulido dancing in his chones. You guys not familiar?
Pulido was saying a polo joke.
Yeah, he was dancing in his chone.
I saw the one where he had it looked like he had the DJ headphones on. He was dancing like to some house music.
No, this one
they kept playing that.
I'll post it on the chat. Juan put. Yeah, Pulido's overrated. We're gonna see how he fails.
All right, I'm gonna go out and say that I think he's gonna be a big success. I think he is unproven, but if he still has what he previously had, then I suspect it's gonna be better than most in the league. I think he's gonna do well.
So why couldn't he do it in Olympiacos?
I don't know.
Maybe they didn't give him a chance.
I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate. I didn't watch him play. I never saw it. I barely saw highlights.
He couldn't break into the first team. Maybe he was there at least over a year.
Maybe it was a coach's preference, and he didn't get.
There was two coaches actually. The new one that came in, they didn't want him either.
When he did come in, though, he did get some goals towards the end and meaningless games, I guess. But
against really weak teams, though. I mean, Greece, the league, even the country is very broke. So you have to wonder the quality of players they have, even of extranjeros. It's probably the equivalent of Liga de Ascenso.
Yeah, and how much of the $18 million or whatever it is do you think went to Tigres for?
Well, Tigres wanted $10 million.
I would figure 5 to 7 probably.
No, one of the things was if Chivas gave him 5, Tigres still had 50% of Pulido's contract.
So they made about 12. And and Chivas has to pay 20% premium because of their personnel philosophy. So I mean, they
I'm not suggesting
Pulido
that he's not
probably worth $5 to $6 million, and that's like on the heavy side.
He probably, I mean, I hate to say the word like overpaid, but I mean it is a really high price tag for him, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to be productive.
No, that's true. You're absolutely right. I mean, it could turn out to be a very good move. I mean, let's face it. Chivas is in desperate need of a striker, and the pool
the other
is very
thing.
limited.
that's the thing. Like the other, talking about young Mexican strikers, there's not a whole lot in the league to begin with. So
Yeah, I mean, Chivas, when they go looking for players, they're looking for players in a seller's market, and it's just something that they have to.
You know what? I say that this should be a warning call to the league. It's where we're headed to, where a team is willing to pay that much.
It's reality
because
time with Jolie.
Yeah, but that's global valuations, man.
no, man, this is.
Dude, do you think Pulido would have gone for $18 million in the Premier League?
Hey guys,
Look, man, given the population and the quality of the league, we should have more players.
Hey guys. Pern texted that BMX wants to know the phone number to.
The telephone number. Yes,
Yeah.
please. What is the number?
Se les olvidó.
What's the number?
I'll post it, but 724-707-3826, and the pin is 13118.
That number again, 724-707-1328.
724-707-3826.
3826.
Yeah.
3826. So the number again, 724-707-3826, and then there's a PIN number.
13118.
13118. So again, the number is 724-707-3826, and the PIN is 13118. And for a good way to remember, a good mnemonic way to remember 13118, those are going to be the goals that are scored against the Mexican national team in Osorio's last 5 games as coach. 1, 3, 1, 1, and 8. A good way to remember the number. Now I ask y'all again: is Alan Pulido worth $18 million in the Premier League, or would he be worth about $500,000?
No.
Well, to answer that, it's if someone's willing to pay for it, yes, he's worth it. That's the market value.
But what other team on the planet would be willing to pay that kind of money for him?
Here's my next. Here's my next question.
It was a unique circumstance, John. I think this was a really unique circumstance where one team was truly desperate to address a position that's lacking, and you had a player that. It's easy to say he's not worth $18 million, but keep in mind, had that whole drama not happened, and had he continued his progression, who knows what his value would have been, and who knows what it'd be now. He
What
pissed
is
away
the
a long
deal
time.
with Mexican players and not understanding that that they have to be playing in their most formative years? Think what would Giovanni have been like if instead of sitting on the bench at Tottenham for 3 years or whatever the heck it was?
And again, that wasn't his fault, though. I mean, his coach that brought him in got fired the second he got in. The second he walked through the door, he got fired.
I understand that, and I get that, but still, it's like if that happens to you, then ask for a transfer. Go somewhere else. He was there for 3 years when he was 19, 20, and 21. It would just, if it's not going to work out for you, Pulido, it's just very unfortunate with Pulido because of the fact that his agent worked for Tigres, and in the letter of the law, and they found in favor of Tigres because what he had signed was all, there was nothing quote unquote illegitimate. But come on.
So there's no conflict of interest laws in Mexico?
Well, that's the thing. It's just a massive conflict of interest, and I guarantee you that what he signed was not what he was told he was signing. And I think that was pretty obvious from the start. And let's face it, I can guarantee you another thing, that this song is on Pulido's iPod. He probably listens to it every day when he wakes up, Anyway, now there is a way that Chivas can make up this money. And, there's only, right now it's taken off, and that's Chivas TV.
But John, John.
I'm logging on to Chivas TV. Hang on a second. As you were saying, yes, Ronnie.
Now, my question is, how the hell is Vergara going to pay for this.
I just
And I don't
told
think
you.
Chiva-
I
and
just
I don't
told
think
you.
it's, and they're not going to make it that way. They're not. They're not.
It's loans, Ronnie.
What's that?
This is one thing I've been alluding to for a while, and is that Chivas is gonna be
Broke.
in heavy debt. In heavy debt. That's what Higuera is. He's an investment banker,
Yeah.
and that's how he came into the picture when he was helping Vergara pay off the stadium. So he helped him with that, and then Vergara has pretty much given him free reins of the club.
But the stadium's
So-
still not paid for though.
Well, I know, but so to me,
That's
they're
interesting.
borrowing
Joel.
money.
So,
I don't know. They're borrowing money from a lot of places because Chivas is spending so much money, and it's in a season where they bypass TV contract, they bypass a main sponsorship for the jersey. They don't have a stadium, the naming rights. So they've lost a lot of money on sponsorships, and then they're spending even
do you
more on
think
players.
it's possible with Higuera being an investment banker that he might have set up like an anti-Chivas, like a bearish Chivas hedge fund, where the more debt he can clamp on to Chivas, and the worse they look, the more money he makes in this other venture.
I
But
don't know,
and
man.
here's the other question: who is lending them the money? And
Guys,
what point
Joel,
will
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, are you familiar with the movie Major League?
With Wild Thing.
Yes.
see, Pedro.
Maybe this is Vergara's final attempt to he's like, all right, clearly my decisions aren't like
Do they have
killing
a
the
cardboard cutout of the Podolo guy?
maybe.
Vergara.
Angelica Fuentes, or it could be a Vergara himself.
Yeah.
Hey, remember in the movie Chingate Cabron?
No, I think they're-
that cheesy Cuban accent.
How many of you guys pray to Jobu? Seriously.
Jobu. I love Jobu.
I'm sure I've done it a few times.
No, I feel that
Jobu
they're
needs a refill.
they're probably hoping if the team eventually does good, if they do manage to do good, consistently good, then they could recoup some of the money, because then they would be able to charge more for a lot of the sponsorship.
I think it's a bit of a gamble. Clearly, I think I think part of them really thinks that they were a striker away from being a title contender. I don't know if that's the case, but it's a gamble, man.
That is one of the beliefs. I say from.
I have to ask you again.
It is
how
pretty
can
inspiring,
that
John.
song?
It is
I'm
inspiring.
telling you. I was talking to a buddy of mine. And I was asking the same question. He was looking at me like we're both incredulous. I mean, because we both hear it and we both like, se me pone la piel chinita when I hear that song. And it's like,
Yeah,
geez.
my chest swelled. I was like, oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there are different interpretations of that song. So, if you really want to hear some singing,
Guadalajara, Guadalajara, sabi sa pura tiyar mohara. Guadalajara, Guadalajara. Guadalajara, Guadalajara.
good stuff. Good stuff. Joel, do you think that the Chivas has? Are we seeing the Chivas comment? You think
The Chivas what?
the Chivas comment that appears every 10 years?
Oh, it's Liga MX. They're due. It's that 10-year. And any team can win, though. I mean, you see Gallos Blancos making it to the final with 40-year-old Ciña. I mean,
And 38-year-old Ronaldinho.
Yes, I mean, they could win it. You just Juwan was talking about some of these good players that are in the bench. So if they, if they start playing good at the right moment, going into Liguilla, then yeah, the team could win.
We
just
do
need
have
to
some commentary. We have some commentary, Joel. I don't mean to interrupt you. I know you're
No, no.
waxing poetic about your Chivas, but we do have some chatter on our YouTube page. Richard Flores, thank you for listening and joining and participating. Wants to know why Ronnie sounds like a salty naco. I'm not sure what he means by that.
Salty Naco. I got a clip. I don't know if you have a sound clip of Nacho Amriz ranting.
No, honestly, man, I have been so busy at the office that I haven't been able to grab any clips at all.
We play this then.
No, no te preocupes, sí, porque siempre te preocupas por mí mucho. Me he dado cuenta. No te preocupes. No te preocupes. No te preocupes. Si no gano ningún título y se los digo enfrente a todos, yo me voy. ¿Te queda claro? ¿Te queda claro o no?
So he's pretty much promising a title.
No, yeah, with Copa MX, they could win that.
That's weak sauce, man.
They could win Copa MX and, celebrate it. Bigger than Chivas did.
But hey, if they win Copa MX, though, it means something, though. Because
is it Angel worthy? Is it Angel worthy?
No, what I'm saying is they've won league recently. They've won Coca Champions recently. So
another championship.
I'm just saying, more silverware.
Buy another trophy case. At this point, doesn't it look a little gaudy to have all this silverware in here?
Who's in Copa MX this year? Chivas is, and also isn't Tigres in Copa MX?
We could have a Chivas. No, Tigres is in the Coca Champions. We could have a Chivas America Copa MX final to end all finals, where maybe, especially if it's on Chivas TV, maybe they'll get like 3,000 people to watch. It would be just unbelievable.
Now, hey, Joel.
Yes, sir.
But you also believe that Chivas is basically fudging the numbers and are going to be in serious debt in years to come?
They're already in serious debt.
I do. OmniLife, I know, is going through some.
No, another question, and it sounds like we have a caller. It sounds like we have a caller, but another question I have for you, Joel, we'll get to our caller in a second, is are they adding all this debt to devalue the club so that when he finally gets divorced, he doesn't have to pay as much?
That that could be a possibility. With these two guys, I really don't know what their end game is. With Higuera and Vergara, I don't really understand it. I don't know what's going on there.
Make everybody be quiet.
¡Cállese, carajo!
We have a caller. Caller, please identify yourself.
My name is Ray.
Ray, where are you calling us from?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. That would be in Wisconsin. Or are you calling us from Milwaukee, Tennessee, like a little town outside of Memphis?
Oh, no, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Well, thank you for calling, Ray. How did you find out about the podcast?
I was listening to other podcasts, and then they sometimes give you a link to other ones you might like, and then so that's how I found you guys.
Really? Well, thank you for listening. Do you have a question or comment, Ray?
Well, I would just like to say that Club America fan, I'm calling BS on that you don't ever get tired of beating your own rival, especially when they're down. And I would also say that I think the reason why I compare Jorge Vergara to a hands-on owner like Jerry Jones, who doesn't let football guys, let them do their jobs. And so that's why Chivas is kind of in a disarray. Great.
That is a very apt comparison as a Cowboy fan who has suffered for the past 22 years with Jerry Jones as a general manager. I certainly see where you would make that comparison. I mean, every time they ask Jerry, you fire coaches. If you had a general manager that didn't win a championship in 10, 15 years, this was a while ago, would you fire him? Yes, I would. Are you going to fire yourself? Absolutely not. So yeah, it's definitely cause for concern. Although I have to admit, I don't think that Joel, maybe you can answer this, that Jorge Vergara has made as many of the club or personnel decisions lately. You've just kind of given the reins to Higuera. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct, sir. And he's not a football person. He had no background in soccer.
Hey,
Is he
but
is he like Moneyball? Is he like just looking at the numbers,
He's like a dude just playing real life football manager.
or is that what he's like, football manager? It's interesting. Ray, did you have one other question or comment, and then we'll let you go?
Oh, what I would just like to say about the Super Classico is that that there's a real localism still left in this traditional rivalry. If you look at through derbies or classicals throughout the world, they're losing that. You know, the last time Manchester and Liverpool played, there was nobody from Manchester or Liverpool. So if Club America wants to field a bunch of nationalized players, there's going to be a loss to the rivalry. It cheapens it, I think.
no, you're
Thank
right.
you for your for your question, Conrad. We really appreciate it. I'll let our resident Americanista, as he started, Ronnie. You're in agreement with Ray?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think it's much so the inclusion of foreign players. I think that what happens over there in England when you talked about Manchester and Liverpool. When I was in South Africa after a game in the World Cup, I was talking to an English reporter, and we were talking about the English game, and he made a comment to me saying that the game stopped being English years ago, and part of that had to do with all the foreign owners who treat their clubs kind of like it's just like an ego for them, where these guys are billionaires. They basically treat their clubs just like as an investment, and in doing so, there's that disconnect between the community and the owner and the players. I don't think Mexico's gone to that point yet, and even though I don't like the fact that there's a lot of foreign players, in America. I think that Mexico's.
I think that they registered like 45 foreign players. They had like 45 foreign players.
Yes, but I think we also have to note that Mexico.
Cholos doesn't even have a player that's Mexican in their lineup.
What's that?
Cholos doesn't even have a player that's Mexican in their lineup.
But here's the thing. There's been a lot of foreign players in Mexico that have adopted Mexico and love Mexico and stuff like that, and there's a connect with the team. And you do see that to an extent, even with a lot of players from America and Cruz Azul and stuff like that. But I think you're right in the sense that Mexican or the Liga MX, if you start seeing that billionaires club now that Carlos Slim is there, and I have a feeling that in the near future, you're going to start seeing foreign owners in Liga MX. I think that's when the real disconnect is going to be between the club and the community, and I think that when the day that happens, that's the day I find another sport.
Do you become an MLS fan?
No.
You pull the scarf out of the closet. Now, one thing I will say about America and Ronnie, you'll agree with this, is that if you look at their quote unquote like Hall of Fame, it has as many or probably more foreign players. I mean, the foreign players that have played for America have all been out of their best one, have been just outstanding. Best players in the league when they played at the time. When America would bring in the local players, the 90% of the players that would come through their system was a local kid, a Mexico City kid.
Yes.
So, and I think that in that sense that America still has that connection with the local fans. Obviously, the people that live in the South and live in the neighborhood, that live in Villacuapa, it's going to be their team. In Guadalajara, it's kind of the same way in the sense that although it's not necessarily Guadalajara kids, but it's more Western kids, coastal kids from the Sinaloas and the Colimas and the Jaliscos and the Nayarits and all the West Coast states, at least the northern part of the coast. So, but you make some very valid points, Ronnie. That as soon as we start having foreign owners, and now you guys didn't hear this here, but there was a very real possibility a few years ago that Jerry Jones and was looking into. I don't know if I should say it. Coyle, close your ears. Close your ears, Coyle. But the podcast, no. That he was actually looking into buying Atlas. That was back when they had their, 110 owners or whatever it was, and I'm sure that when he saw what kind of business he would have to get into just to purchase the team, I'm sure he's like, you know what, I'll just back off here. But yeah, so I do think, however, though, that that Chivas is going to be sold within the next 2 or 3 years, and I think that it's going to be one of the one of the big boy Mexicans is going to purchase them.
Yeah, John, keep in mind, since Vergara's been around, since 2002, he's had legal problem after legal problem. He's already been to court, 3 times. Well, actually, this would be the fourth time. And in that time frame, they've gone over over 30 managerial changes, 5 presidential changes, general manager changes. So how these guys, I seriously think these guys are they're going to have seriously, financial problems where they're going to have to get to a point where he's going to have to sell.
Well, I mean, look, today I saw the tweet that they brought Pulido in on the, what was it, the Chivacóptero, the Chiva chopper.
Yeah.
And so it's coming into the stadium, and the stadium is, I mean, there's no question the stadium is absolutely beautiful. There's no parking. How do they expect the fans to come to the game if there's no parking?
Well, remember that whole complex is not even done. There was that JVC complex,
right?
And I think Joel will remember, but back when Noticiero de Televisa de Deportes, they did a report, and they actually showed the documents. One of the reasons they were held up because these guys, Vergara had promised that the stadium would be up for their centennial in 2006, and these guys were already selling the luxury suites in the boxes for the fans, but the stadium wasn't even built. And one of the reasons it wasn't built is because they didn't even have the funds for the zoning and the permitting process. So I mean, if they didn't have the funds for that, and they were already taking people's money.
It's the Chivas hype, man. The stuff sells itself.
Is there an alarm going off? Do we need to? Is there breaking news? Is there breaking news? Now, do you think that Vergara would ever admit to mistakes?
I've never admitted to a mistake.
I think he's banking on the equity of the club name, of the name itself, because I mean, you guys all know that the formula in accounting, and I think he's just banking on the equity of the name and seeing what he can get for it, because eventually the liabilities and the debts it's gonna have to.
Yeah, I mean that's why I do believe that, and I'm not sure if divorce is, maybe we can have. I know we have a lot of people listening. Maybe if someone who's familiar with the legalities of divorce in Mexico, I know in this country it's everything, the property is treated 50-50. I'm not sure if it'd be the same down there. I mean, it seems to me that what he's doing is that he's lowering his net worth so he doesn't have to pay as much.
But hey, he had a Hindu wedding. Does that still count?
I had a Hindu wedding.
I'm kidding.
That's what we're supposed to do, isn't it? We had
Yeah, that cheesy Hindu wedding with Angelica.
I had a destination wedding. You know where I went? I went to Angleton.
Angleton, Jesus Christ. My neck of the woods.
I'm kidding.
My neck of the woods.
Anyway. Now, moving on. There is, amazingly enough, we're going to see the national team play again after their first appearance since La Boda Roja, the 7-0, and I don't see how any of the players that were involved in that and coaches don't carry a massive scarlet 7-0 tattooed onto their forehead or their chest or wherever you want it. It's something that's just not going to go away. And I even noticed that even when Brazil won the gold medal, did you see what one of the German fans did when he was walking around the stadium, holding the seven fingers up to the Brazilian fans? It was pretty funny. But anyway,
esa mancha nunca se borrará.
Yeah, exactly. They're playing at the Cuscatlán, and I read today that they've only sold 8,000 tickets. So not even the Salvadorians want to watch their team beat Mexico, because it's like who wants to beat them? I mean, it's like it's already embarrassing enough that they're coming. Then we have to beat them, and no one wants to see that.
Well, I actually feel sorry for Ramon Madariaga, man. I was reading, and he was criticizing. I mean, this guy's criticizing his federation and saying that they're unprepared and this and that and the other, and it's like, the guy, and he's telling the truth. He said these guys are so unprepared, but yet we pay the price, meaning the coaches and the players. And I just thought, like, Jesus Christ, I mean, imagine if a Mexican coach criticizes the federation like that. As the coach, I mean, he would be fired the next day. But
not only would he be fired the next day, that they wouldn't let him do TV for 3 years.
No, and that guy would be persona non grata and would probably never work in Mexico. And I'm like, Ramon Mardiaga, he's just criticizing, and I feel bad for them, dude. I really do. I mean, what's his name? Carlos de los Cobos, was telling stories about when he coached over there in El Salvador. I mean, the players, they didn't
where he'd have to
have,
like ride on a pickup truck to get to the stadium.
Yeah,
and then the pickup
dude.
truck would break down, and he'd have to walk the rest of the way with the team who had to walk with him. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Carlos de los Cobos actually did really well. I mean, he got him within shouting distance of the repechaje before they kind of fell apart at the end.
Yeah.
It was and he's another guy. Why did he never get an opportunity coaching anywhere else in Mexico? But they'll give any third-rate South American 18 chances. Carlos de los Cobos gets one.
I'm still convinced that promoters have something to do with it, like the networking.
Ronnie, going back to El Primitivo, could you imagine being the lady who has to give the guy a facial and pop all those blackheads?
Jesus Christ.
Dude, hey, back in 2001 during the World Cup qualifiers when Mexico had to play Honduras and he was the coach, I would sometimes frequent the Univision forums, and back then, dude, it was no holds barred in those forums, dude. Hoyle, I don't know if you remember those forums. Hello? Hoyle?
Joel is muted. He's probably he learned to mute himself when he has to run errands.
Well, anyhow, those
do
forums,
chores.
they were just brutal. I mean, it was like a roast of Ramon Maradiaga.
See, now you're making me feel bad. I feel like I am. I probably shouldn't. I should apologize. I'm very sorry.
Me estoy avergonzado.
I shouldn't have said that. I feel bad. I feel bad. Now, he's actually, he's a very decent coach. He's, he and who's the other guy that like just does the Central American train stops and coaches at a different team every year. There's another guy.
He's a nice guy though, Maradiaga. I feel bad for him because, he can't do. With El Salvador, you're limited funds, limited, resources.
Now they're still in the thick of it. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, and I need to look at the now it's between them and Honduras, and and Canada because Mexico's already qualified. So, I mean, let's face it. If they're going to beat, one of the ways to earn qualification is to get points off of Mexico, because no one's been able to do it. Is get points off Mexico. So you would think, and I got to tell you, I mean, I firmly believe that, when El Salvador has a decent team for El Salvador standards, if they played anybody in that stadium, whether it be, Italy, Brazil, whatever it was, it would be intimidating as hell for those teams too. That is a tough place to play. I'm not saying that that El Salvador would beat them, but it would not be a pushover at all.
Now, I don't remember the entire lineup for these games, but if this was me, if this was Osorio, I wouldn't call any player fighting a position in Europe or even any European, because it just brings flashbacks of Cuauhtémoc Blanco coming down to Mexico to play against Trinidad and Tobago for a meaningless match, and he gets his knee just shattered by Ansel Elcock. It meant nothing, and El Salvador. I mean, they're playing for their lives. I mean, literally, they're and I think
they have 2 points. They're in
And
last place, and Honduras and Canada each have 4. No, I agree with you, and there should have been all local guys. There's no point in even bringing any of the.
no,
It's not against these two teams. El Salvador and Honduras.
because games get really, they tend to get pretty violent over there. Not in violence in the sense that they like to, tackle hard and I mean, I know that, like, for example, Hell never really cared for this player, but he was never the same really after this injury. I remember, they played against Panama in the 2002 World Cup qualifiers, and just the field conditions. Lara basically tore he shattered his knee because of the poor field conditions.
I remember that.
You remember that? Yeah. So it's like, why risk our players, for those type of games in those conditions when you don't have to?
Well, that's why I firmly believe that Chicharito had his girlfriend Lucia shatter his wrists so he wouldn't have to go. He's like, well, I need my legs and everything else, but I can do without the muñeca to play, so go ahead. Like in that scene in Victory where they have to break the goalie's arm.
Yeah.
So that Sly can be on the. Yeah, absolutely. No, and then the guys they call up, and again, I mean, to prove the fact that that Giovanni has been blackballed by the FMF. They had like 4 opportunities to call him in, and then didn't call him in for any of them. So he's either blackballed or temporarily, in exile, whatever it is. And Giovanni's had a good season at MLS. And I know that Juan, you say, well, Juan's not with us anymore, but Juan says he's a little overweight and he's not even in shape for MLS. But I mean, let's face it, it's it's not like they're playing Holland or anything. They're playing El Salvador and Honduras. See what Giovanni can do, and it's still not calling him in. So it's pretty obvious what's going on. And I mean, again, I mean, he's been playing since April. He's in fine form. There's no reason not to call him. I mean, let's face it. I mean, they're calling guys I didn't even know existed. Like some guy from Atlas is like, who is that? I have no idea who that guy is. And they call that Saldivar guy because it reminds me of when Luis Landin got a hat trick. And then they brought him in for one of the friendlies before the 2006 World Cup, and he plays 3 minutes. Never see him on the national team again. So that's what these guys have. But you know what? Everyone deserves an opportunity, and maybe one of these guys will actually take advantage. Maybe Saldiva will be one of those guys that is okay for the club team, but just lights out for a national team. You never know. Stranger things have happened. So what do y'all? I mean, are y'all even going to watch the game on Friday? They're playing in El Salvador on Friday, and then in.
I'll watch the game. I'll watch the game, obviously, just so I can, watch it and criticize it. No, I'm kidding.
Now, do you think that Mexico now is like the Brotherhood without banners? They've been revived by the Lord of Light, and they're just not quite all there. There's like a little piece of them that won't come back.
Honestly, you know what? I don't care if you win, if you beat the U.S. in Columbus. It's just one match. It doesn't mean anything in the sense that you can still qualify to the World Cup. In order for Osorio to even get some credibility back, he has to have a great showing at the Confederation Cup. That's assuming he makes it too.
He's not even make Confederations Cup.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't give a shit what he does between now and the World Cup qualifiers, because it's not like, okay, we've qualified to the World Cup many, many times. So whether he wins in Columbus, okay, that's a start. But the Confederations Cup, dude, that to me.
I think there's a mental.
There's a really good chance they're going to play Chile in that tournament too, in the group stage. I mean, there's a 50-50. It's either going to have Chile in the group or they're not going to have Chile in the group.
That's
50-50.
Because I think there's a mental aspect to this. They're getting grilled even in the press conference. I think it was today or yesterday. They were talking about the Chile game. They were talking about the 7-0, and they're blowing it off, saying, we got to move past it. The players were. I think it was Saldivar and all those guys. And I think there's still a mental issue there with all these players, not even the ones that didn't play in the game, of fear that they're going to fail, and that could affect them in this El Salvador game and the Honduras game, and especially if they have to play Chile, like you said, in the next tournament, Confederations, that's going to be bad. I think they're traumatized.
They could find nothing. We'll have to change the name of the podcast to the Nueve Cero podcast for a week.
Yeah, it's gonna take something big for him to get over this hump.
Yeah, so I mean, I do find it interesting that that Corona got, quote unquote, got hurt. Chicharito, quote unquote, broke his wrist. Even went as far to have surgery to get it fixed.
I
He
would,
was only out for like 10 days.
I shouldn't call them. Well, these two games don't mean anything. They should call a Mexican League player, and that's it.
You should have
Yeah,
called
but you got to
players.
remember they got to sell him too, so that's why they called him.
I would
Again,
have
that's
called. I would
important.
have called the under 23 team. I would have called the under 23 team, the team that lost, or even the under 20. Get them experience in those type of games, in those tough games in Central America, and go from there, because there's no need to call your best players right now. Not that I'm saying that they don't need they don't need to work. Obviously they could work together and stuff like that, and obviously you need to get past that 7-0 ass raping. But I'm just looking at from the experience, the sour memories of seeing players getting injured in meaningless games in Central America.
Got a caller from Chicago.
No, you're right. The Cuauhtemoc. I mean, it'd be pointless to bring those guys in, and it was very interesting to me to see that.
Oops. He left.
Oh, I think that sounds like we might have another caller.
Oh, he came on and left.
Oh, he chickened out? Well, that is very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. So does Mexico win both of these games? I mean, obviously it doesn't matter, but would that be a step in the right direction? Are we going to see like some of these younger guys get a chance? I mean, I'll tell you, I am really happy for Orbelin Pineda, because I think he absolutely does and has for a good year and a half, at least since it's been at Chivas, has been terrific. And he seems like he's the kind of midfielder that we've Mexico's just hasn't had in a long time. He's just a very complete player, and I'm shocked that he not only did he not make the Olympic team, but that he wasn't in the original call-up the first time. It's like, are you not paying attention to what's going on? So I'm very, very happy for him.
I think that for the press to get back into not necessarily a cheerleading mode, because they're never cheerleaders, but into a mode where they're not just feeling like crap about Mexican football. Because you think about it, we had a crappy summer, Olympics, Copa America. I think and I go back to, for example, 2001 when Cruz Azul made it to the finals of the Copa Libertadores. I mean, that kind of got people interested again in Mexican football and international soccer. And obviously back then that was the Ojitos Mesa era, where the national team and stuff like that. But I think that both the league feeds the national team and the national team feeds the league in that sense. So I think that one of the things to heal the wounds is to the teams that are going to participate in Copa Libertadores and obviously the Champions Cup and America going to the World Championship. I think that's going to have to help the national
start
team.
the cauterizing process.
Yes, because I mean, right
so
now.
Does it help, Ronnie, when a team like Monterrey loses 3-1 to Árabe Unido at home? Does that help?
No, it doesn't. Because unfortunately, the press they'll nitpick that and they'll dissect it every which way, and I think that we need to have the league start doing well in international, and that obviously feeds into the national team. So I mean that's my hope.
Now, Ronnie, so Joel brought up something very interesting just recently, and then we want to we'll wrap it up here. We'll circle back to the Clásico. We asked you last week to make a prediction for the game.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you had said?
I said it was pain.
That's right. You said pain. Did you when you said that, did you expect the pain to be yours?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
I want to hear you say Chivas es papá.
I'm not gonna say Chivas es papá.
Oh, he just did. It's recorded. You know, and I'm gonna have
He
to grab
just
that one for
did.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, snap.
that's right.
cold.
Oh,
Joel,
Sir,
honestly speaking, and we'll wrap it up here. Does Osorio make 2017? Will he be the coach in 2017?
oh no, man, that's foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
He just to the hex. Columbus should be his resting place,
when he orders room service the night before in Columbus, that'll be his last meal.
his final meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his
pretty
final
much.
meal will be the $20 hamburger. You guys ever ordered room service in a
club
hotel?
sandwich.
Like you get a club sandwich or hamburger, and it ends up being like $30. Like, jeez, it happens.
When is
and then
that
when my
match?
wife and I were in Hawaii, it's in November. It's whatever the FIFA date is, November, like November 13th or something like that.
Yeah, he gets.
Yeah, they have to do that, and then they play Panama, and then they're playing Panama in a friendly. It's like who schedules these things?
Wait, weren't they playing Costa Rica?
It'll be one or the other. Whoever ends up in that position in their group, just gonna be one or the other.
Did we? I had to step up, but did we finish on the whole Chivas TV?
We did.
Pulido.
We did.
Pulido stuff.
We did.
One thing I
Did
forgot
you
to
go to
mention.
Amazon and buy the Pulido sunglasses and to go along with your new Pulido haircut?
They remind me of the Plastic Man, who was a cartoon.
What about
DC Comics.
what
With
about
the
the
white
boots? Those boots and those
the
underwear.
No. Just want to make a quick point, just for fellow Chivistas and other interested parties. Just a bit of the situation going on, because the way that how Angelica Maria arrived was because OmniLife was going broke. So she came in and she put money. So she helped save OmniLife, and so she ended up getting married, and then she owned half of the stuff, and then she stole money, and now it's kind of going all over again. So this is like some of the businesses going broke, as well as like Chivas USA that it also was a major flop. So I mean there should be some concern, and as fans, we get distracted. We see the big name signings, and we forget what's going on in the background.
So you think that this is all maquillaje?
And they're trying to buy the campeonato, throw all this money and hope it comes in. But I mean, there's a long history of fail already piling up, so I mean, it's a bit worrisome.
They're starting to look like Atlas.
Oh no, we're still not that bad.
Hey John,
it's 50 years counting.
6.
Before we wrap up, do we have time to talk about the little spat that I got into today in Twitter?
Did you get into a spat today in Twitter?
I didn't do anything wrong though. I don't know. What do you think, Chiquis?
Let's see how it relates to football. I guess.
It does relate because of like the thing that I said about with Hope Solo, about saying.
Did y'all see that they terminated her contract in their league too?
Yeah.
What did she do that was so bad?
Well,
I mean, obviously, what it was an accumulation of whatever it is that's happened to her, and I guess people want to justify it like that. I could understand, but all she did was say that the other team played like cowards. I don't understand why that was such a terrible thing.
Well, here's the thing. Klinsmann has attacked the MLS, American players, American soccer, and stuff like that, and he still has his job. And I think,
maybe she said something.
Like I said, I don't.
Maybe she mouthed off to the wrong people behind.
You know what it was? Yeah, you know what it was, Ronnie. You remember in Goodfellas when they just had enough of Joe Pesci, and they just whacked him.
Yeah, they whacked him.
That's what happened to. That's what happened to Hope. So they just had enough of her. Like, you know what, Hope, you're enough. You're done.
All right, so
see ya. That's what happened to her.
So basically, what happened, like on Twitter, was that basically, I guess there was a story that I think the guys over there on the Footmex Horse they started talking about this USL team, second division team or whatever from
Arizona United.
From Arizona United, and I guess their old CEO, endorsed.
I believe current CEO.
Endorsed Donald Trump or Mike Pence, the VP. I mean, although he didn't officially endorse anybody, but and stuff like that. So there's a a supporters club that took offense to this and basically said, hey, we're not going to support you until you get rid of this guy. Well, I made a comment, about that, saying, what, do these supporters club need a safe space now? Maybe a little Vagisil? And, certain people got upset. And, I stand by that. I mean, I said it, jokingly in a sense, but, I believe in speaking your mind, and you shouldn't, I don't like this whole, political correctness. I don't. And I think those what's politically correct.
O sea, no pena, me da vergüenza, porque los
What's politically correct or incorrect about the situation?
I mean, if Robert Kraft or Jerry Jones or whoever wants to publicly endorse Bernie Sanders, I'm not, and I'm still a fan of that club. I'm not going to stop going to that club just because he has a different. I mean, I'm not old. My birthday was last week. I'm not. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not that old. I mean, at least my generation.
Did you get your AARP card yet?
No, not yet. But I mean, we had thick skin that I don't mind if you have a different political affiliation than me.
People are allowed to be thin-skinned, dude. They don't have to be thick-skinned like you. They could be sensitive and they could take offense to whatever they want.
You're the exception rather than the norm, right?
But the problem is the shaming. Even if it's something that you agree with, I still don't believe in that shaming. And to me, I have a huge problem with that because,
So you feel the same way about the people, the way that they're reacting with Colin Kaepernick, then?
You know what? I don't agree with Colin Kaepernick, but the thing about it is I'm not gonna. If I was a fan of him, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to throw away his fucking jersey and burn it. I don't agree with it. To me, burning the flag is the wrong way of. It's like rioting, and you think you're doing the right thing by burning someone else's business that didn't do anything to you. It's one of those things. It's like, okay, well, I think he's just an idiot, but. I'm not going to say ban the guy or.
I was hoping
that he's a piece of shit or something like that. You just have to. So you know what? I mean, I stand by what I did. What those supporters, they just need to thicker skin. They can't expect everybody to think like them and them. It's like, dude. Get over yourself. I have a lot of friends that are a little flamboyant, but they still that their own
thin-skinned about people
What's
with
up?
thin skin.
So it's like the Hope Solo deal.
So you're thin-skinned people that are thin-skinned.
Hold on one second.
Whoa. Can you guys hear me? There's some lag.
What's up?
That were looped in.
No, I'm back.
We're losing people off.
I'm back. So what were you saying?
We're making political comments. I'm just asking if you're thin-skinned about people that are thin-skinned.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, Ronnie, we appreciate your candor and how you feel. Obviously, entitled to their own opinion, and at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and everyone has a different opinion. And if you don't like my opinion, well, guess what? I'm probably not going to like your opinion, but it's not going to change my opinion of you as a person. It's just the way it is.
But you
People
also
can think that's okay.
And you're right, but you shouldn't shame somebody. You shouldn't shame somebody just because they have a different opinion than you.
I feel like I should shame you right now because you're an America fan. I think I will. I'm gonna play Joel's favorite song. I'm gonna play Joel's favorite song. Now, Joel, I have to ask you a question. Who's better? Is it us?
Guadalajara, sabe esa pura tierra mojada.
Gun to your head.
What happened?
Who sings? Gun to your head. Who sings Guadalajara better, Nat or Elvis?
Oh man, I'll say Nat King Cole, but there can only be one, Yon, and that's Chente. So
that is
only one dude could sing that in my book.
Oh, yeah. Hey, speaking of which, we didn't play any Juan Gabriel song today, did we? Hey, no love for Juan Gabriel?
When you hear that? Juanga. I have a bad joke about Juanga. I won't say it. I'll say it on the Twitter. It's not very much. It was, it was a great performer. Vicente is a performer. Have you ever seen Vicente on his horse? People trying to come off, and he just turned his hand, and like what he pressed the part of one beer. It is quite a spectacle. Now Juan Gabriel has a song, and I can't remember for the life of me what the name of it is. It's like 30 minutes long. It shows it's a great song.
Oh,
what's the name of that song?
Hasta que te conocí. He did a live rendition of it, dude. Fucking phenomenal. It was like 20 minutes long, and he really got into it. Like even,
Yeah, I've heard this live. It's incredible. Yeah, that's really great.
No me provoquen, shit like that.
You remember Juan Gabriel in Houston? Back Gabriel was an Americanista. Is he the one who sings this song, Ronnie? Does he sing this? Is that Juan Gabriel? Is that Juan Gabriel?
Final year.
I don't think he was Americanista.
Yeah, I think he was rapping Cholos in his final days.
Now,
there's pictures of him wearing the Cholo
really?
jersey, huh? Yeah.
Wow. Now he lived right down the street from you, right? Joel, didn't he live in Santa Monica?
I have no idea, Jon.
That's where he died.
I know where
in Santa Monica. Well, que en paz descanse Juan Gabriel.
Hey, play the one where it's like, no, with him and Rocio Lurcal. No.
I'm watching the Contacto Deportivo, Ronnie, and there are people outside Coapa protesting Nacho Amriz. They want him fuera Amriz is what they're saying.
Jesus.
So,
I don't
very, very sad.
I don't remember if I mentioned it to you guys once. Back,
Is this a confessional?
No. About Amriz is not the problem, dude. He's not a bad coach. And it's like I would keep him even like I was telling Beto earlier today that even if America doesn't win the title today, this season, I wouldn't throw away the work that they've been doing. Because we didn't win the Centenario. Like, come on, dude.
Well, he's already said that he's gone. He's already said that if he doesn't win, he's gone. He said it himself.
I know.
And then Pelé said, well, that's not going to happen.
And I understand that because but Pelé has to look for the longer. He's got to see the big picture. And I know that Nacho Ambriz is thinking. He knows that he lives and dies by the results. By the wins and losses. He knows this and titles. But it's like I remember when I was a kid, playing baseball, and I was in a pretty big slump. Like I was shit, dude. There was like many games where I wasn't hitting the ball. I didn't get a hit. And I remember telling the coach, I said, hey, I don't mind if you don't play me. And he's like, dude, you're doing fine. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I'm doing fine. I said, I haven't gotten a hit in like I don't know how many games. And he's like, I said, you're making great contact with the ball. Fundamentally, I was doing everything right. Unfortunately, when I was hitting the ball, it was just to people. But as far as doing everything, hitting the ball right, line drives and everything like that, I was doing, just doing fine. So I said, like, why change it? Don't start falling. Don't start falling. And, I mean, that was like, 20 years ago, whatever, however long it was. And I still remember that because, it's like, shit, sometimes you just don't, you think you're doing things.
You don't cross horses at midstream.
That means we got.
When you finally got your hit, Ronnie, was it a big celebration?
Hey, everybody, we're all going to get laid.
Did it finally happen for you?
We got to stay with Osorio then, man.
What's that?
Got to stay with Osorio.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
To me, Osorio, just, his whatever little hope he had left with me, he lost it completely when they asked him on Univision. Don Juan Carlos, whatever they call him, ¿qué aprendió después de la derrota? Dijo, bueno, pues ahora sé cómo jugar cuando está 3-0. Come on. Seriously, that is your biggest takeaway from that?
Well, what was his response? That was it.
That's what his response was. His response was, when we're down 3-0, now I know how to play.
What? Do what a boxer does? Fucking, hold tight? I mean, really?
I'll never forget the last time Pumas won, actually. They played Monterrey in the Liguilla. They were, Monterrey was still Monterrey. They hadn't, they'd come off a few championships. They were very dangerous. They'd struggled, but they were they made the Liguilla. And in the first 20 minutes, they just ripped Pumas a new one. And we're up 3-0 in the first 20 minutes. They were just scoring at will. And then Pumas just tightened up. They got a late second half goal, and they won the second leg 2-0, and they ended up winning. And, when you're down, that's what I don't understand. It's like, geez, how could you not? I mean, even I know how to do that. It's you have to shore up, and I cannot believe that it's like a foreign concept to him. It was very sad, indeed. But anywho, I think that this is a good spot for us to wrap it up. Daniel, are you happy with Chepo and getting celebrated the victory with Santos like he'd won the World Cup?
No, it was a subdued celebration.
Subdued it. I mean, it looked like they were just having the time of their lives. So are you expecting good things now? Do you think that the train's going to get turned around? And
I still think it's way too early to tell. It was an ugly game, but it was, we'll see. I still have doubts.
I understand. Well, hopefully things will turn out. I think everyone can appreciate a team like Santos. Hopefully they'll get it turned around. It's no one wants Chiapas to qualify for the year. They want a team, good team like Santos to make the league. That's what we hope. Hopefully that'll happen for Santos. It's good to have you on, Dan. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Well, we lost Joel. He probably had to go to work, but we still have Chiquis. Chiquis, thank you very much for joining us as always. Your participation in the podcast is brief but very to the point. You're very on point when you speak. You drop the hammer.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Very frequently. Thank you very much. Ronnie, I'm sorry for your America. It's is it one of the deals where they? But you say no. You say they steer the course. Don't change horses midstream. Everything's fine. You're like Kevin Bacon in Animal House. There's no reason to panic. Where everything's okay.
No panic.
It's okay. Don't panic yet.
Nah.
Yeah, I agree. It's just one loss. I mean, geez, they're still like third or fourth in the league.
Yeah.
Just embarrassing when you lose to your heated rival in the fashion that they did at home. With a goleada, the worst one that they'd had in like 20 years in that rivalry, just brutal, harsh.
If they would have fired Amriz after this, or make a huge deal about not winning, the Centenario, I would be worried, because then that means that we're back to where Mexican clubs are usually, where they basically make decisions, very quickly and without, seeing things through, and they react with the press because they just don't want to feel the heat, of the pressure. So no, I think just stay the course.
Stay the course. Down points to that. I understand. I agree. There's no point in panicking. It's one loss, albeit it was a huge loss, probably the biggest loss in 5 years. It was painful to watch, for America fans. It's one thing to lose to Leon, but to lose to Chivas the way they did, and just
No,
it was so
painful.
I mean, they couldn't. It was so thorough, the loss. They couldn't even blame the refs
I think more painful was the loss over there against the in the FIFA World Club Championship, because it's a game that they had under wraps, and then they just crapped out. That, to me, that one I was pissed at that one.
Yeah, was that worthy of a wall punch?
No, not that one, but close.
Stab with a knife.
Yeah.
Close. That was close.
That was just like a little forearm shiver to the door. Just a little pop. Well, Ronnie, thank you for joining us as always. It was a very entertaining show. I think we had a good show tonight.
Yep.
As always, a pleasure to visit with you and your insights. Thank you, everybody, and of course, thanks for the folks that participated on the Dos Aceros Football Podcast, whether via chat or on the call. It was a pleasure to have you guys. We'll be on again next Wednesday. We'll have actually a couple of Mexico games to talk about. We'll see if some of these new players stepped up, or if Osorio, how he did. Did the Lord of Light come and resuscitate the team, or are they still gonna need to be burned and buried so that they don't come back as White Walkers? We will find out over the next few weeks. But this has been the Dos Aceros Football Podcast. Merito production on soccerchronicle.com. You can listen to us live every Wednesday night on YouTube, and of course, you can listen to this podcast and all of our previous editions on iTunes. Thank you for joining us. We'll be with you again next week. Thank you.
No, tenemos ya.